Alrighty. We live? Are we live? Are we live right now? How do I hide chat on here? I don't want to be looking at the live chat. I want to hide it. How do I do that? That's how I take this off. It's not what I want, though. Alright, I just won't look down. Are we live? Testing 1, 2, 3. I say we got 2 people on. Yo, it's good. What's good, everybody? Hopefully you're all doing well and having yourselves a very fantastic day. Where are you guys tapping in from? Let us know. We're gonna give everybody a few minutes just to wait for people to come on in. So yeah, we're gonna give it just a few minutes. What's up, Jeevanoots? How are you? How are you, my friend? What's going on? Happy to see you all. I was just walking outside. It's a nice day to walk. I mean, it's a little bit cloudy. It's not a lot of sunshine, but yes. What's up, PJ? How are you, my friend? What is going on? What's up, David? What's good? Yeah, I was just outside. Enjoyed the weather. Went for a nice little walk. Now we're back in the car. We have a lot to talk about. Okay, I don't usually go live like this. And I'd like to do it a little bit more. I would actually take you all outside, but it's pretty crowded over there. And I forgot my mic. I did. I forgot my mic. Where are you guys tapping in from? Let us know down below. We're going to give it a few more minutes before we get started. Just a few minutes until we get started. We got a lot to break. We have a lot to break down. Okay? RIP for the mic. David says I just came from school. Nice. Very cool. The courts are awesome over here. It's cool. All right. Let's give it just a couple more minutes. Let us know where you're tapping on in from and how your day is going. We had a cool Sunday night stream last night. That was awesome. And that was obviously overshadowed, even though we still called the game, by the breaking news that we're going to talk about right now. And I'm going to give it to you from a Phillies perspective, because there's some good things. Today's a good day. It is a good day. Yesterday was a good day, and today is even better. So one more minute, and then we'll talk. Tyler says it's a beautiful day. It is. It is a beautiful day. We got a beard trim coming too this week in 2 more days, which I'm also looking forward to as well. RIP to the beard. And we're going to get back to the short hair. And it's going to be nice. And I'm going to look like I'm actually 26 again. So that's going to be cool. It'll be great. All right. Let's get started. Okay. Today is a good day. Today is a very, very good day for Phillies Nation. I got 3 points for you. Okay? Today is a very good day. 333 step. What's going on? THR 33 step. How are you, my friend? Okay. First thing I want to tell you, my thoughts about the trade. This is worse than the Luka trade. This is worse than the Luka Doncic trade. This is worse. Rafael Devers is not on the level of Luka. Luka, to me, is one of the top 5 best players in the NBA. Rafael Devers might be top 10, maybe, but the return is a bag of chips. They gave up the Giants. The Giants gave up a bag of chips to get Rafael Devers. And by the way, he's locked up for the next 8 years on his contract. You talk about fleecing somebody. That's the ultimate fleece. The Giants fleeced the heck out of the Red Sox to go get Rafael Devers. Insane trade. And I don't know what Boston was doing. Don't know what Boston was doing. Still can't understand it. Nobody saw it coming. And I'm still shocked. I'm very shocked. By the way, in case you are just tuning on in, welcome aboard. We go live for every Phillies, Sixers, and Eagles game, but we're doing a special edition today because today is a good day for Philadelphia. And I'm going to get to my point in just a little bit. What's up, Rhino? What's going on, everybody that's on here? Joe's also here. Shout out to you guys for tuning on in. I can't believe that the Giants fleeced the Red Sox in that deal. You gave up one major leaguer and 3 prospects, pretty much. Even though the second major leaguer was supposed to pitch in last night's game for the Giants. But the Boston Red Sox, with a huge head-scratching move to get rid of Rafael Devers. Devers was having an incredible year. And Boston, if I'm Craig, if I'm a Boston fan today, I'm irate. Craig has to go. But let me get to why this is great for the Phillies. Why is this a good day for the Phillies? Number one, we learned that Dave Dombrowski is actually not as dumb. What was done from Boston was absolutely 1,000% dumb. Dave would have never made that trade. Dave Dombrowski actually has a brain and wouldn't have done that move. Can you imagine if Dave Dombrowski said goodbye to Kyle Schwarber and the Phillies got in return 3 prospects? The city would be on fire. The city would actually be on fire if Kyle Schwarber, or let alone Bryce Harper, was traded. Harper's probably the better one because Rafael Devers was the heart and soul of that franchise. So Dave Dombrowski, we question a lot of moves that he has made. Happy that he did not make that move. And he would never do such a thing. I was even listening to the Boston Sports Talk Radio, and they were even saying even Dave Dombrowski would have never done that. Craig Breslow made an awful decision. Nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw that coming. And as much as we want to complain about our GM and our president of baseball ops, it could be a lot worse. It could be a whole lot worse. I'm not telling you that Dave is just this great president of baseball ops. But at least he's not dumb. At least he's not dumb. If Bryce Harper left Philadelphia and the Phillies got in return three prospects from the Marlins or something along those lines, the city would be on fire. The city would be burnt down if Bryce Harper got moved for prospects like Rafael Devers did for the Boston Red Sox. Again, in case you're just tuning on in, last night before we went live for the Sunday Night Baseball game, Rafael Devers for the Red Sox, their heart and soul of their team, a very, very good player, one of the best hitters in the league, got traded to the Giants for a bag of chips. And the Red Sox world right now is fuming. Here's why this is a good thing, though, for the Phillies. So, number one, our president of baseball ops is not that dumb. Number two, I was thinking that Devers was going to be on the move, but I was scared. Right? I was scared that he was going to go to the Mets or the Braves. And that he was going to come into our division. I was scared about that. I thought that the Mets were going to get another bat and that they were going to make another big swing for somebody like a Rafael Devers. And he's not in our division. That's a win. That's a win. Mets would have found a way. The Braves, even though they have not had a good year, the Braves still feel like that they're contenders. And they could have easily found a way to add Devers' bat into that lineup. Now, I know that Riley's over at third. Olsen's over at first. They have Ozuna at DH. They would have found a way to be creative with that, just to get that bat in their lineup. And so he's not coming over to the NL East, which is a good thing. That's a good thing. I was a little bit nervous that was going to happen. Wasn't he a clubhouse cancer? He was not. He wasn't a clubhouse cancer. The issue was, and you're going to hear reports from Jeff Passan and from other people that, look, he wasn't a good guy. Like, he wasn't a good fit. He wasn't going to listen to, he was a clubhouse cancer. All that BS is wrong. That's all wrong. What originally was supposed to happen, the Boston Red Sox front office was not straightforward with him. They wanted him to DH. They wanted him to be. They first wanted him to be over at first base, but they weren't clear. They were not clear with him on that. They were not clear with him. As soon as Bregman came on it, the Red Sox were not straightforward with Rafael Devers. And they didn't prioritize him. And Devers said, you know what? Okay. You want me to be the DH? Fine. I'll be the DH. As long as I still get to hit. That's what I'll do. And he was tearing the cover off the baseball. And he was getting paid all that money just for hitting. He wasn't a good defenseman anyways. And then they just traded him. They just got rid of him. They got rid of Betts. This might be just as of a shock for Red Sox fans as when Nomar Garcia-Parra was traded. But, man, I'm really happy that Devers did not go to an NL East opponent, because that kind of made me a little bit scared. And my GM, as much as we complain about Dave Dombrowski not being aggressive, at least he's not dumb. He's not dumb enough to trade Kyle Schwarber or Bryce Harper or Zach Wheeler or Christopher Sanchez for nobodies. That trade is one of the most head-scratching trades I've ever seen. That's a terrible trade. And the Giants fleeced the hell out of the Red Sox. Now to my main point as to why this is a good thing for the Phillies. Alex Bregman is going to want out. Alex Bregman is not going to want to stay. He's not going to want to stay with Boston at all. So now my question to you is, would you be interested in going after Alex Bregman and putting him over at third? I personally think that he's an upgrade over Alec Bohm. You're going to have to pay the guy. But I think it would be kind of cool to include a trade package to get Alex Bregman, because now he's not happy. He's not healthy right now, and he wouldn't be back until pretty much before the All-Star break. But the Phillies need a very good right-handed bat. And they also need more help on the defensive side. Bregman is a top 5 third baseman when he is healthy. He's a very, very good player. And maybe, just maybe, you could maybe get a Jarren Duran or a Sedan Rafael or somebody else in that outfield to help boost this outfield. I don't know who they would give up. If they had to give up Ranger, I'd be willing to do it still. But this does open the door for Alex Bregman to say, nah, I want out. I'm not dealing with this anymore. You promised me that this team was going to compete for a wild card spot. And now that you got rid of the face of the franchise, I ain't dealing with this. The Red Sox really dug themselves into a hole. And if Alex Bregman now is on the table, that opens up my eyes. Because the Phillies need another very good right-handed bat that can hit power, that can produce. And he gives you good defense. Would Alec Bohm have to be included in the trade? Probably. You'd probably have to be willing to part ways with him. But if they could find a way, to get Alex Bregman and another outfielder, I'd be interested. I'd be interested in doing the deal. And I want to hear your thoughts about that. Now that Devers is gone from Boston, if Alex Bregman is on the move, are you willing to trade for Bregman? If we can get an outfielder too. Rafael Devers going isn't a huge he's a big domino. He's a huge domino. And the Red Sox now, if I'm the Red Sox, I'm saying to myself, damn, that guy was going to help us get to a wild card spot. We played such great baseball. We beat the Yankees. We swept them this weekend. We beat them 2 out of 3 last week, and we swept the Rays this week. We were doing so well. There's no way that this offense, the way that it is, they are really going to miss Rafael Devers in that lineup. I don't think that they're going to contend. And if I'm Alex Bregman, I'm saying to myself, you promised me. You promised me that we were going to contend for a wild card spot. Do I really want to spend my life, the rest of my season here? I'm not even going to come back till July. Do I want to spend the rest of my season here to compete without Devers, and I have to now go up against the Royals? I have to go up against these top teams, these very good teams for a wild card spot. The Mariners, or whoever, Mariners, Astros, whoever it is, in that AL West, plus 3 of those AL Central teams. I'm saying, if I'm Alex Bregman, I'm saying, nah, I'm good. Shit me. I'm saying shit me. And if I'm the Phillies, I'm taking that phone call. I'm taking that phone call. And I'm saying, you know what? If Alex Bregman and an outfielder can come over here, what's up? What's up, Craig? What's up, Craig? Craig Breslow, hit me up. All right, let's look at some chats. What's up, Asia Robertson? Shante says, I don't know where Boston goes from here. I don't know if they even play well after this. That's why I'm looking at Alex Bregman now. And because they lost their they lost their face. This guy was locked up for the next 8 years. They lost their face of their franchise. Why would Alex Bregman want to stay? Why? Why would he want to stay? Why would he want to stay with that organization? Do they have a future? Doesn't look like it. Quan says he would be down for trading Ranger, Bohm, and a prospect for Bregman plus an outfielder. We weren't going to pay Ranger or Bohm another contract. But now you're going to have to pay Bregman if you get Alex to come on over here. That's the thing, is that you're going to have to pay him a contract. I wonder and again, like, they could find a way to keep Bohm and still do this. I think you have to include him, personally. But I'm also thinking about Castellanos. I don't know, my mind is spinning. But the main thing with this thing is that Bregman is now not going to want to stay. He's going to want out. And if you're the Phillies, you better be taking that damn phone call. You better be calling on in, if you're Dave Dombrowski, to try to get an outfielder and him. And you know what? Even if they don't get an outfielder and if they get Aroldis Chapman, I'll still do it. I will still do it. Chapman's having a very good year. I know that he's older. I know he's 37. But he's still having a very good year. And I'd be interested in even just getting him. Boston has some valuable pieces now. And I think that they're going to sell. I even think that Craig Breslow says when he looks at this franchise, he wants to try to get players off the books for ownership. Whether you like that as a baseball fan or not, it's flawed. But there is no future with that Red Sox team. There's no future. The problem with Devers is whenever he had an issue, he went straight to the press. I disagree. With the way that I've been learning about things from Boston radio, from Nesson, I've looked into this. And they clearly blame ownership and the GM, the president of baseball ops, Craig Breslow, for not being straightforward with Rafael Devers and how they were going to utilize him. That's what they're saying. That's what a lot of those people are saying. But the bottom line is that now Rafael Devers doesn't have to go to an NL East opponent, which I was afraid of. Everybody's shocked that they moved on from him this quickly, but I thought that he was going to go at the deadline, and I was thinking that the Mets or even the Braves were going to show interest in him. Even though, again, the Braves have a third baseman, they have a first baseman, they have a DH, but they were going to try to find a way to get another bat in that lineup. Could have put Riley out in left and put Devers over at third. And even the Mets add into their lineup with Lindor, Soto, Alonso, and Devers. That's scary. That's scary. And we all know that their owner's not afraid to pay the big bucks. So he doesn't have to go to an opponent in our division, which is great. He's out in the NL West. Let the Dodgers, the Padres all deal with that. And even the Diamondbacks. That's their problem. But here's the other thing, though. It kind of does put a little bit more pressure on the Phillies because if the Phillies stay where they are, they have to win the division. The Phillies have to win the division. Because a fight for that wild card spot between the Giants, the Padres, the Diamondbacks, the Cardinals, good luck. Good luck. I'm not telling you that they're going to stand still. But if they do, good luck. So in that sense, it kind of does put a little bit of pressure on them. At least he's not going to an NL East rival. And then the third thing, too, Alex Bregman. I'm telling you, I would be shocked if Bregman finishes out the rest of the year in Boston. And I know he's hurt. I know that he hasn't been healthy for about 3 weeks or so. I know that he's out. But if you could find a way to get Alex Bregman here and an outfielder or a closer like Chapman, I'm doing that deal. Think about this. Your lineup, okay, if you get a Sedan Rafael at 2, your lineup would be Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Alex Bregman, Kyle Schwarber as your 1, 2, 3, 4. Put Castellanos at the 5. Put Bryson Stott at the 6. JT at the 7. Sedan Rafaela at the 8. And Brandon Marsh at the 9. That's a good lineup. It's a better lineup. For sure. It is a better lineup. And you could actually divide Schwarber and Harper. And you're giving Harper more protection. That's where I stand on it. I'd rather pay Bregman than Bohm, too. Again, Bregman's older, but he's a better defensive player, A. Alex Bregman is one of the top 5 best defensive third basemen in the league when he's healthy. Okay, the way that I look at it, you got Arenado, you got Machado, and then from there, I mean, Austin Riley is pretty good defensively still. But Bregman, to me, and this is just me, still one of the best defensive third basemen in the game. So you're getting an upgrade in that area. And Bregman, unlike Bohm, produces power. Power. And he hits for contacts. And he's a good situational hitter. So Devers being gone opens up that door. And back to my first point. Craig Breslow may have made one of the dumbest GM moves ever. You literally got a bag of chips for Devers. Even if Devers wanted out, you have to get the proper return for that guy. They could have even gotten Logan Webb, and they didn't do it. Not even saying that Logan Webb, that would be even a fair trade, but at least that would give them more starting pitching. And you could say, you know what, that kind of makes sense. They gave up. They got back in return nothing. Dombrowski loves chasing stars. He did with the Tigers and the Red Sox. He's always open for business. I'm just hoping that I'm just hoping that the Phillies can find a way to get him. But they have to get him and an outfielder, or, and I say or, Chapman. If they get Chapman and Bregman and they give up Alec Bohm, Otto Kemp can go in the deal too. I'm sorry. If they don't have to give up Crawford or Abel or Painter, that's a great deal. Let them take Otto Kemp. But then you have to pay Bregman. That's the kicker. And also Ranger would have to probably be included in the deal, which people probably wouldn't be happy about, but it would probably make sense. You're not going to be able to pay Ranger. You have Painter, Abel, Sanchez, Wheeler, and Nola, and Walker. Plus, you're getting a closer in Chapman, and you're getting another very good bat over at third. Still think that they're going to have to do something about that outfield, but they do get better. They do get better. That's where I stand. If Devers would have went to the Mets, if he would have went to the Braves, that would have been bad for us. But that's a win. Have him go out in California, and guess what? The Padres at Bogarts, the Dodgers at Betts, and Devers is now with the Giants. That's now 3 former Red Sox players who were on that 2018 World Series team that are going to be tearing it up in California. Sox may have been at fault too, but Devers' every complaint is aired in the media, for sure. I'm not telling you that Rafael Devers is set free here, because you're right. You're complaining to the media. You got to be a professional. You got to be a professional at the end of the day. But the way that this was handled, you can't deny it's a shit show. Giants could be our problem in the postseason. They could be. But that's why now, in my opinion, this opens up the door. This opens up the door for an opportunity for the Phillies. And they better capitalize on this. Do not let the Mets go for Alex Bregman. Do not let the Mets go for that guy. Get Bregman here and an outfielder. And then trade one of the prospects. Trade Bohm if you want. And then we call it a good day. Kwan says, going back to the wild card standing stuff, it does hurt the Phillies for wild card stands. They need to make a move, but not mortgage the future unless you're going all in. Phillies have a short window since their roster is old. You're going to have to give up one of the prospects. But, again, if you give up Otto Kemp, okay? You give up Kemp. You give up Miller. Okay? You give up Aiden Miller. You get rid of Otto Kemp. You get rid of Alec Bohm. And Ranger Suarez. You're keeping Painter, Abel, and Crawford. That's great. That's great. That's a good trade. Phillies need bullpen help and maybe another bat, says Asia. Yeah, and again, Bregman's a right-handed bat that you can use in that lineup to protect Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber. He's your Rhys Hoskins when it comes to hitting. He's also a better defensive player. He's a defensive upgrade over Bohm. And he hits for average and hits for power when he's healthy. Alex Bregman does move your needle. And we don't look at third base as like a big priority, but you know what we do look as a priority? Bats. And again, like, Bohm is not a good defensive player. You're getting pretty much a Gold Glover at third base on top of a better bat. And get the outfielder too while you're at it. Get the outfielder too. Whether it's Sedan Rafael, I don't think that they're going to get Jarren Duran. I would love Jarren Duran. But if it's Sedan Rafaela, that's fine. That's fine. Rafaela is a better hitter than Marsh and Rojas, and he has more potential. And he's an even better defensive center fielder. He's a very good defensive player on top of that, too. Larry says you got to trade Ranger. Yeah, Ranger's going to have to go in the deal. But this is why it's a good day for the Phillies. As much as we criticize Dave Dombrowski, I said this before and I'll say it again for the people that are tuning on in. Just imagine if the Phillies traded Bryce Harper or Kyle Schwarber for 4 prospects. The city would be on fire if that happened. Dave would not have been that dumb to make that move. I don't know if Craig Breslow is going to get fired, but John Middleton would have fired Dave Dombrowski on the spot if he did that. So at least he's not that dumb. And that's sort of a positive from a Phillies perspective. That's the first thing. The second thing is that Devers did not go to the Mets or the Braves. And then the third thing is now that the Phillies have an opportunity to go get Bregman. I would like it. Let me know what your thoughts are down below on if you would take Alex Bregman and an outfielder. That would have to be included in the deal. It's either an outfielder or Chapman. The Red Sox are like the Pirates now. They don't want to win. They just want to be cheap. If the goal for them was to save $250 million on this Devers contract that they didn't even have to pay off until the 8 years. Like, the AAV of that, I don't know what 250 divided by 8 is. It's about like 30 million. Like, you're not paying the 250 million up front. You're paying 30 million per year. If that's what this was about, that is even more stupid. That's even more stupid. And some people are also saying, well, Masataka Yoshida is now going to be the DH. And with all due respect with Yoshida's another good hitter. He doesn't produce power like Rafi does. So now the Red Sox are going to bank on him. They're going to have to bank on him to produce 30 home runs and hit for average, which is not that's just not who he is. It's not who he is. Red Sox ownership is toxic. Sucks for them, just a greed machine. I think it's worse than the Betts trade. You knew that Mookie Betts was probably not going to resign with the Red Sox that year. It was still sad for them to see him go. And you would have loved, if you were the Red Sox, to keep that guy. And I'm not saying that Dave made a great move there, because he did not. But it was sort of inevitable that he was going to move on. And that he wasn't going to sign with them. Devers was locked up for 8 more years. Do you understand that? Wasn't like he was due for a contract extension. This guy was locked up for 8 more years, and you get rid of him. That's the guy that you get rid of. Whether he was not so good to the media or whatever it is, whether he was talking to the media about this type of stuff or not, ownership and even the manager, Alex Cora, need to have a conversation with their star player and say, no, this is what's going on. This is where you're going to be, okay? And we're going to have you as the DH, and you have to produce here. And even Devers was like, okay. Even Devers yesterday said that he thought that he and ownership were actually on better terms. He had no clue he was going to get traded. He didn't know. And the reason why he didn't know is because a lot of these people that are reporting for Nesson and the people that I've heard, they said that he just got off that plane and was shocked that he was traded. So there you go. Bregman can replace Casty and Bohm in contract. Hopefully Miller can move up and Abel is a cheap arm to replace Ranger. We're probably going to lose Ranger in free agency. Try to get something for him, and that's why you're going to have to throw him in the deal. And guess what? Dave, exactly what you just said, Quan. Quan, he loves to go for the star guys. And you know what? The Phillies, as much as I don't like Rob and what he's done this year, to me, you need another power bat. To me, you need another reliable piece in that pen. And you could use an outfielder. It's a golden opportunity. Now, I'm dreaming here. But let's just say that they do get Sedan Rafaela or Jarren Duran, which I don't think it's going to be one or the other, and I'm fine with Sedan. Let's say that they get Sedan, they get Bregman, and they get Chapman. And they trade Ranger, Otto, Alex Bohm, and even, and if they had to throw in, what am I missing? Aiden Miller, and if they had to throw on in, Abel or Painter, I'm still doing that deal. I know that sounds like a lot, but you're still keeping Painter, you're still keeping Crawford, and you're getting an outfielder, a very good third baseman, and you're getting a closer who can help you now. I'd still do it. That's a home run deal for the Phillies. That's a home run deal for the Phillies. Sox sending a message to the players that they don't want malcontents. He refused to play first base when there was an injury. I don't want that guy either, says Larry. I'm done with expecting Bohm as a guy who can hit for power. He had a long time, and he's shown that he can't hit for power. I'm with you, man. 6:40 is the start time. The Phillies are actually trying to win, so they wouldn't do that. The Red Sox have become the Pirates. Larry, is it unlikely we will keep him, you think? Quan says, I don't think Middleton would have approved that. The GM in Boston had to have ownership sign off on those deals. And again, like nobody knew that was coming. No one knew that was coming. So, pitching is so in demand. Ranger will probably break the bank, which is why he probably doesn't want to come out of the pen while we have a lot of starters. And you know what? At the end of the day, Scott Boras wins. At the end of the day, Scott Boras wins. And I'm not telling you that that's what I want, but every party would be happy if that was the case. That's all I gotta say. That's it for me. What do you guys think? What do you think about the Phillies going after Bregman now that Devers is gone and that the Red Sox don't care about winning? So, it's very early to start shopping. They had weeks to shop Devers for a good deal. That's the thing that bugs me. If I'm a Red Sox fan, is that you traded Devers, fine, but you got nothing. You got one major league starting pitcher and 3 guys that are just minor league players that aren't going to fill on in for that type of a role. That's the kicker. That's the kicker. That's the dumb part. This feels like the Luka trade. Just pulled the trigger without waiting for max value. But even the Luka trade, Anthony Davis is not a scrub. Anthony Davis, when healthy, is still a very good player. The Luka trade would have been like if the Giants traded Logan Webb in that deal. You understand? The Giants just, I don't even know if MLB The Show had this trade, it would have never fallen through. It would have never fallen through. Anthony Davis is still a very good player. He's not Luka. He's not Luka. But the Giants gave up nobody. Just sprinkled in pieces. They didn't even give up their top prospects to get him. That's how egregious it was. We need outfield and a high leverage reliever. If we could upgrade third base too, that's a miracle. I believe the NBA initiated the Luka trade. That's why Dallas got the top pick. And it was the fact that Luka went to the Lakers for that. If the Yankees made the move and got Rafael Devers, then I think that would have been sort of a similar case. I'm with you, Lou. I'm with you. Or if Dodgers, like the Yankees are the Dodgers. So, that's it. That's it for me. I love you all so much. I will see you guys back on here at 6:40. 6:20 is when we're going to go live. Phillies must try to get Durant and Chapman. This is Everyday Mets. Even if they get Durant and Chapman, that's not a bad move. That's still not a bad move. I would like Bregman because he's a right-handed bat. And I would like to get one of the top 5 best third basemen in the league. But even if you get Durant and you get Chapman, I'll still do it. I'll still do it. So, yeah. All right. I will see you guys tonight. Going live at 6:40 for the Phillies Marlins game. Hope to see you there. Watch there actually be breaking news after we're done with this and the Phillies trade for Bregman. If that happens, call me crazy. All right, love you all. Tov. See you all later tonight. Peace.